Hello, it's Joe here for Joyrider TV. Today I'm going out on the FX1 and I'm just going to be working on some tacking. I thought you could come along for the ride. It's not particularly windy, well, so it seems. At the moment it's probably, I don't know, 10 knots, maybe. We'll see. Maybe it'll be more by the time I get out. We'll see. More than that. Yeah. What, like 11?
It's about
13, 14 knots. I've been reliably informed by one of the best sailors here at Whirlwind. So just selecting reverse. It's okay, it's okay. Okay, and we're off. So just easing a bit of traveller there to be able to bear away. Tidying up the Spinnaker sheets. I've just spotted the capsize righting line is on the trampoline, so I'm just going to put that away before we do anything else. Just keep an eye out, boat's bearing away there a bit because I haven't got the traveller in, so if I pull the traveller in, see which way the boat turns, still bearing on. Oh my goodness. Right, I better take charge of the situation here. Okay, downhaul is cleated on both sides, so I can pull that on, pull on a fair bit. Right, and I'm just going to pop the lure dagger board down, not all the way. I'm going to leave it here because it is fairly windy, and if we were racing I would put it all the way down, but we're not racing, so I'll leave it up a little bit. Okay, now I can start sailing upwind, getting ready to go out onto the trapeze. Mast rotation is a little bit tight, so I'm just going to allow that round a little bit, and then out we go. Okay, so I just need to get a bit of space before I can start this tacking exercise. So I'm just going to come away from the wind a little bit. In fact, I might get past this first yacht, put the Spinnaker up, go downwind to get a bit more space. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Okay. So I want to take the boat almost straight downwind for the Spinnaker hoist. So I just need a bit more space before I can do that. Yeah. Okay, so I'm kind of gripping the tiller extension between my buttocks and my legs. There we go, so kite is up. And I'll stay sitting on the boat for this small kite run. So we've got the dagger boards down perhaps a little bit too far to power it up fully. Okay, so I've got the tiller extension over my shoulder, steering by pushing down, applying a bit of downward pressure, and that means that if I want to I can use both hands on the Spinnaker sheet. Just steering gently for the gusts. Wind's getting a bit lively, I'm going to switch to proper steering. I think I could use a bit more halyard actually, so I'm just going to turn downwind a bit more. There we go, a bit more halyard there. That'll make the Spinnaker a bit easier to fly. Okay, so let's have a look at what we're going to do on the jibe. Just going to bear away, jibe as normal, then pick up the sheet as quickly as I can. So here we go, you're ready to jibe, turning downwind, straightening up, As soon as we go through, pulling the kite in, wasn't too bad. All right, we're going to go for another jibe. So here we go, same again, easing out as I bear downwind, going for the jibe with pace, a little bit of pace, sheeting in, there we go, not too bad. Okay, so I'm just going to drop the spinnaker now. The drop is going to be a little bit tricky because of the way that the retrieval line comes. In fact, I'm going to jibe before we drop it. So one more jibe, just getting a little bit of pace on first, and then down we come into the jibe. All right, and now pulling the retrieval line, getting this tiller extension under the buttocks. Again, dropping the spinnaker fairly quickly is fairly essential. Just making sure the downhaul's cleated on that side, straightening up the camera, and off we go. Back, up, wind, get hooked on, hang out on the trapeze, getting forwards. It's not a huge amount of wind just here. So okay, there I just went to sheet in and the traveller moved. That's a sign that the traveller's not in enough. So pulling the traveller in a little bit there. Once I get past this big catamaran, I'll go for a tack. There we go, that's nice. Nice bit of upwind. And then, so I've got the main sheet in tight, and I can kind of feel for what the optimal angle is. If I come down a little bit, it'll pick up a bit. There we go, just a bit more boat speed there. And then if I come up a little bit, it's going to slow down a bit. Okay, seeing as we're meant to be tacking, this catamaran is kind of blocking us, so I'm going to go for a off the wire jibe round to go behind it. There we go, and we'll go behind that catamaran there. Okay, there we go, nice big boat, very stable, loads of space, but slow and bobby, I think would be the gentleman's description, a bit like a pedalo. Alright, so we're going to go for some tacks. What I'm going to do is come in from the trapeze first to start with, and then tack from the trampoline. So here we go, I'm grabbing the main sheet as far down the stick as I can reach, then coming in, focusing on our course as we're coming in, tidying up the rope, coming forwards a little bit so we've got space at the back. We're going to check the area that we're going to tack into. Main sheet's in tight, we're hard on the wind, that means we can tack there. So head to wind, pushing up, going under, stick comes round, sheeting in on the new side, hooking in, getting the weight on the trapeze first, and then going out. So just putting the weight on the trapeze first to make sure that we are hooked on. Okay, let's go for the next one. This time I'm going to tack from the trapeze, uncleating the main, reaching down the stick, hand on the handle, pushing away, bend the knees, standing up, unhook, under the boom. Oh, we got a bit of locky tiller extension there. Fixed that once already this week. We'll talk about locky tiller extension in a later video. And there we are, back out on the trapeze. It's not very windy, but it's windy enough to practice this. All right, so we're going to go again. So we're hard on the wind, main sheet's in tight, I'm uncleating the main sheet, holding it in the stick hand, tidying the ropes, hand on the handle, checking the area, When we're ready, bend the knees, standing up, unhook, under the boom, stick comes round, sit on the new side, hook on. In the light winds or lighter winds, we're going to focus on getting the boat going first. As it gets windier, we'll focus more on getting out on the trapeze and then getting the boat going. But I think on the single hander, it's probably more important to get out on the trapeze earlier because you haven't got a crew to do that. All right, next tack, here we go, uncleating the main. We'll go for a come in first tack again. So checking the area, tidy up, reach down the stick, coming in. One last check of the area, then push the stick away, release, come round, get on the new side, look forwards, sheet in, get the speed on a bit, hook on, dangle first and then go, just to make sure that you're definitely hooked on. It's of course very important on the single hander, doubly important to make sure you're hooked on before going out, doubly. All right, we're coming into a bit of traffic, so I'm gonna get past this windsurfer, go for another tack from the trapeze. Yeah, it's probably about 13 knots, I should think. All right, so reaching down the stick, main sheet's out the cleat, checking the area, hand on the handle. A bit of a wider stance on the trapeze, that'll make it easier to stand up. And pushing away, bend the knees, walking across like you're at some sort of cocktail party, sheeting in, grabbing the trapeze and dangle, and then out again, and we're going to tack again there. All right, so same again, wider stance, sort out the ropes, uncleat the sheet, push it away, in you come, cocktail party across. Oh, main sheet went out a bit readily there. Oh yeah, and hooking on, back out, and there we are. Bit more wind here, 11.6 on the speedo. So if we're going to be going downwind, we're going to need to bring the dagger boards up a bit. So what I'll do is when I come in, I'll bring the windward dagger board up, and then maybe what I'll do is 2 more tacks. Yeah, so I'm going to come in first, windward dagger board up to the downwind mark, and then to avoid having to go to leeward, I'm going to tack, and there of course leeward becomes windward, sheet round the foot, get that sorted out straight away, and then there we go. And now we're going to tack again, checking the area, it's getting a bit crowded here. All right, got that flipping 2 extension roll thing again, and if we're not careful, keeps doing that. Right, and then we're going to come all the way downwind, put the kite up, and then off we go. So here we go, coming down, buttocks and back of the leg there for the tiller, seems to be working well. Gonna make sure I've got it all the way to the top this time. All right, cranking the main sheet in, it's a bit windier so that needs to be a bit tighter, taking the sheet in on the kite, and there we go, that was pretty good. Main sheet's in tight, which is good. Bit of a gust coming, so I'm gonna have to bear away here fairly, not at all in fact. It's a windsurfer on the nose. There we go. So I think for our VMG, if we were racing, we'd stay sitting in. Going behind the Pacific, as you do. Gonna get out on the wire, I think. As you can see a bit more as well. So we are getting a good spot fairly far back, sheeting in. And there we go, nicely. Playing the Spinnaker, just occasionally sheeting out to make sure it's not in too tight. This would be quite a bad time for a gust because I have to bear away. We've got traffic. So I'm just taking the speed off a little bit just to be on the safe side there. So I'm just sheeting kind of like one arm's length of kite because that's all I've got available. Nice. Probably flying the hull a bit more than what you might call optimal, but it certainly does feel good. Just very subtle steering, really can't see to leeward. There we go, there's a bit of pace there. Just hear the pitch change. All right, so I'm going to go for a jibe. So what I'm going to do is come in first. I'm going to set the tiller extension down just to make sure I don't oversteer coming in. Oh. Unhooking, we want to get that speed back on a bit of chop there as well. Okay, going into the jibe there, so just going to throw the Spinnaker, jibe the boat, pick up the Spinnaker sheet on the new side, get that bad boy in. There we go, hooking on, and out we go for some more. Oh, this good idea to check that your ratchets are on if you're going out to fly the kite with a bit of breeze. This ratchet's not on, which means that the load is pretty decent, but the wind's just dropped. So I'm going to come in, drop the Spinnaker, just make sure that's not snagging. So buttocks, back of the leg, just pulling up the slack, releasing the cleat, pulling that all in. She's in, grabbing the main sheet. I'm going to leave the dagger boards up, so I'm just going to beam reach it back in. Out on the trapeze, and here we go. All right, tidying up the sheet there. Someone left it in the water. Couldn't have possibly been me. Might have been. Yeah, so I'd say it's probably in the low spots about 8 knots, maybe even 6. In the high spots, about 14. It's quite a changeable wind at the moment because it's quite early for the afternoon cross-shore wind at the moment. And here we go. Cruising in. Let's get that hull up. Okay, so while we're just cruising, if you are in the UK and you need sails making, a good choice is GP sails. That's Grant Pigott down in Southampton who made this sail. This sail we've got on here is pretty old actually. I should think about 7 years old, but it's still going strong. And believe me when I say she's had some abuse. So it's a real good test of a sail to see how long it can last in this environment with the sun, the amount of salt on it, the amount of people using it. Some people drive it like they stole it or treat it like a rental car, which that's harsh. But yeah, it's still going strong. So that's if you're in the UK. Of course, if you're anywhere else, OS3 sails have been looking after us now out here for the last, I I don't know how many years, but several years, doing a great job making the sails. Says 2 sail makers that we've been working with over the years. So ideally right now I would have a bit more dagger board down, but we're just cruising and I'm going to have to turn a bit more downwind, but I'm coming up a little bit, see if we can find a bit more breeze. But there's not a lot about just now. It's early days in the afternoon for the cross-shore wind to really tickle us on the boat. So it looks like our maximum speed on this session was 16.5 knots, which I'm reasonably happy with. The fastest I've ever gone on an FX1 was 20 knots. So in this fairly light wind, I think that's reasonably good. I could talk about trapeze length as well on this occasion. Because the wind's quite light, I've set the trapezes as short as they'll go, just so that I can get out, but without risking dragging in the water. It's gone very light here, so I'm going to have to come back in. I'm just getting as far forwards as possible. Yo, to the other camera there. As far forwards as possible. Within reason, because I'm still hooked on. There's maybe a bit of wind coming down. Maybe there's not a bit of wind coming down. Not a lot of it about just now. So what I might do to speed our passage back in, just when we get round the front of this white gym palace, go put the Spinnaker up again. I'll just sit on the boat for that one. It's going to be a slightly more tricky port hoist. It's just more tricky because the cleat is kind of obscured a bit by the spanner bar for the mast rotation. I'm sure we'll manage. Here we go. Let's where's that up there? Oh, we're not using the buttocks and back of the legs technique. It's just been, I'm endorsing the buttocks, back of the leg steering today. I think it's the first time that I've actually consciously thought about it, and it does keep the boat going straight. So now I've got the main sheet a little bit more eased because there's not so much wind. And good idea when it's like this, when it's gusty, to keep having a look upwind, just to make sure that it's not a monster gust coming along. If you do see a patch of dark or shiny water coming towards you, or rough, or gusty, or anything like that, then that's a fair sign that you're about to be hit by something. All right, I'm going to pull this down now. That's cleated again. Oh, something's going on. All right, there we go. Yeah, so there's a few things you can check for the recleat. The Spinnaker stops coming down. First thing to check is your cleats, check the lines, and if you've checked the lines and the cleats, there isn't really anything else that it could possibly be. All right, so there we go. Let's finish off. We're coming into the moorings now. So thanks very much for watching. I hope this has been helpful, or at least interesting to some degree. Not so much wind today, so we just do what we can. Thanks to everybody who's been supporting the Joyrider TV channel. It really makes it all even more worthwhile. Just going out for a sail with a camera is a lot of fun, but when people are supporting me as well to do it, that makes it really great. So if you want to get involved and support the channel, head over to Patreon in the description below. Just click on the link, or head over to totaljoyrider.com, get yourself a fresh new t-shirt or hoodie. You could get yourself a Giving It the Beans Joyrider TV t-shirt, and then people will know that's who you are. Okay, so just coming in for the parking now. Coming in for the parking. Oh, I'm gonna kind of cut through here. Try to get some preferential parking position. Okay, we don't generally recommend that people do this, but when you want your preferential parking, you got to sometimes break a few eggs to get there. And there we are, letting the downhaul off, getting into the water. Preferential parking, that's what it's all about.